announce that I will be stepping down as VQEG co-chair this meeting. And I'd like to propose that Yanis from Meta takes over in this role. Thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I just, on that note, we have the session, administrative session on Thursday. I think it's appropriate to take a decision on the next co-chair at that point, but now you all know. So we, as a tradition, have the status update as the first session, where we go through the different working groups and what they have been doing, what their plans are, and what we can anticipate during the meeting. And also, as a tradition, we also have the round of personal introduction, which we usually begin with. So, and this is a bit harder on the online meeting to get everyone, keep track of everyone, but I will do my best. So, but I will go first. So, my name is Kjell Brunström. I work for RISE, Research Institute of Sweden in Sweden, and I am one of the co-chairs of VQEG. And let's then go to.
So maybe I've got a small proposal. If everyone raise a hand, then we have an order that is given by teams, by the order of the rising hands, and everyone that's already spoke, just take down the hand.
Okay,
and we know who...
that's an excellent idea. Thank you, Lucian. Okay. So the quickest goes first. Has everyone raised their hand?
I think one is me, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
My name is Mohsen Janadele. I am a postdoc at the University of Constance and working in image and video quality assessment. Thank you.
Then number 2 is Femi.
Hi,
I think
everyone.
You can see your number.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Femi Adeyemi, Senior Lecturer at the University of Surrey. Been working with VQEG for a while now. Basically, I also handle the video recordings and upload them to YouTube.
Hello, I'm Lucian Janowski. I'm a long member of VQEG. I am chair of SAM, Statistical Analysis Method Group, and I from VQEG University, from Krakow, but currently I'm in CU Boulder. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Linderow. I work at Ericsson Research in Sweden, in Luleå, in northern Sweden. I work with quality experience research in all different kind of services, mostly modeling and service quality assessment.
Hi, I'm Mikołaj Leszczuk from the VQEG University of Krakow, Poland. I'm the associate professor here, and I work both in subjective metrics and objective metrics for a long time. In objective metrics, I'm the chair in the Cracovia group, which stands for Quality Assessment for Computer Vision Applications, and for subjective metrics, I'm the co-chair of the MEC group, which is a new group and stands for Multimedia Experience and Human Factors. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Margaret Pinson, VQEG co-chair in the process of stepping down. I'm also a co-chair of the No Reference Metric Group. I do research on no reference metrics. I work for the Institute of Telecommunication Sciences. That's part of the United States Department of Commerce. And I also take the VQEG website, and VQEG email lists, most of them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Felix Immer. I'm a PhD student at the Audiovisual Technology Group at the Technical University in Ilmenau in Germany, working on evaluating immersive communication systems like, for example, social VR through, for example, behavioral analysis methods.
Ali, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, sorry, I cannot see the order. Hello, everyone. I'm Aliak. I work on quality of experience for multimedia content. Currently, I was enrolled in Nantes University previously. Currently, my postdoc just has been over, so I'm not accompanied with any institution at the moment.
Hi everyone, I'm Yannis Katsavounidis. I'm part of Meta, the video infrastructure group. I'm working on, of course, video quality optimizations, objective metrics, but at the same time, I'm interested in statistical analysis. And for that, I'm also a co-chair with Lucien and Z on the SAM group. I'm also interested in working on norm for no reference metrics with Margaret. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Nabashid. I am from SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, commonly also known as PlayStation. I'm a senior research scientist here. I am the co-chair of the Emerging Technology Group here and also the co-chair of the Computer Generated Imagery Group, CGI group here. I mostly work on optimal encoding strategies and quality assessment models and metrics, most recently considering AI-based pre and post-processing technologies. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I think it's my turn now. My name is Emin Zayman. I'm an associate senior lecturer, which is assistant professor at Mid Sweden University. I work on immersive visual media and its quality of experience mostly, and also working on different areas of visualization as well. It's my first time in VQEG meeting, so thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is Dietmar Saupe. I'm a professor emeritus at the University of Constance, and I'm interested in image and video quality assessment and methodologies. I'm a member of the SAM subgroup, and we have hosted the VQEG meeting 1 year ago online. And I'm also a chair of JPEG AIC, the ad hoc group for assessment of image coding. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Enrico Malzala. I'm with the Politecnico di Torino University in Turin, Italy. I'm associate professor there, and I'm working on multimedia coding and transmission optimization, especially interested with on quality, video quality. And I'm the co-chair of the JEG hybrid group. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sara Baldoni. I'm currently an assistant professor at University of Padua in Italy, and I'm working on quality of experience for immersive media. Thanks.
Good afternoon, good day, good morning, everyone. François Blouin from Meta. I'm part of an organization responsible for testing and optimizing video quality. This is a small group, part of the data center team. I'm working with Yanni, and I'm also recently joined the co-chair as a co-chair for the 5G KPI team with Pablo and Knell, and will be presenting, I believe tomorrow, the progress on our 5G KPI. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shirin Rafi, PhD student and researcher at RISE Research Institute of Sweden, Stockholm, in Shell's group, Visual Media Quality Group, and I work with quality experience and user experience on assessing visual perception in remote control systems, and I support the VQEG group in social media and publicity, and I have collaborated with the IMG group. Thank you.
Hello, we are a small team here. I'm Jesus Gutierrez from UPM, Associate Professor and also co-chair of the IMG group. And we have...
I'm Anna Ferrarotti. I'm a PhD student at Roma Tre University, currently here in UPM for an internship.
I'm Miguel Díez. I'm a researcher on quality of experience. I work for Nokia and also here in UPM in Madrid.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm Gunilla Berntsson. I have been working at Ericsson for a long time, but now I'm working still at ITU as a co-rapporteur for question 10 on conferencing and telemeeting assessment, and we have a collaboration with VQEG IMG. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Raka. I'm a professor at TU Ilmenau, and I'm affiliated to VQEG also via ITU Study Group 12. I'm a co-rapporteur of question 1412 there on audiovisual quality evaluation. Yeah, and we work on various aspects of QE and also audio QE, but here obviously primarily for video QE and also immersive social XR services. Thank you.
I think it's my turn. Hi, my name is Kamil Koniuch. I am PhD student at AGH University of Krakow. I'm PhD student of Lucian, and I also freshly finished the research visit at the Nokia Spain. So as I am psychologist, I'm mostly interested in methodology for QA studies, and I was participating also in the IMG program. So that's all on my side.
Hello, my name is Matthias Wien. I'm with Aachen University, the Institute of Imaging and Computer Vision, and I'm leading the Visual Media Communication group there. I don't have a formal role in VQEG so far. I've been attending, I think, for maybe something like 4 meetings or so. And I'm the convener of the MPEG Visual Quality Assessment Advisory Group, where we do a lot of testing and metrics and evaluating metrics for visual media. All kinds of those. We do verification testing for developed standards and specifically also doing testing in the context of calls for evidence and call for proposals. And it's about starting new standardization projects. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Saman. I'm from PlayStation Sony and I work on perceptual quality assessment for images and videos. And I'm actually chair of the CGI group and co-chair of the ETG group together with Nabaji.
Hi everyone, I am Obryjoti Dotto from AGH University of Krakow, Poland. And my research topic is, I am a PhD student of quality of experience in video quality assessment on crowdsourcing platform. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Here is Loic Fortio from the Department of Computer and Control Engineering from the Politecnico di Torino in Turin. I am a researcher focusing primarily on modeling individual scoring behavior with deep neural network as well as statistical models.
I think it's, yeah, okay. We cannot hear you, you're muted.
Mary, you're muted.
Am I audible now? Okay, sorry for the... I'm Meher Nisa. and I'm a second year PhD student in AGH, AGH University of Krakow. I am a PhD student of Professor Mikule, and I'm working on the deep learning architectures that works for underwater images, like the enhancement and the assessment of those underwater images, quality optimization and enhancement of those images.
Hello, here we are two people. I'm Pablo Perez from Nokia Extended Reality Lab in Madrid, Spain. Well, researching different aspects, including QoE, and also co-chair of the IMG group with Jesus and 5G KPI with Francois and Shell.
Hi everyone, I'm Marta Ardona. I'm working with Pablo and I'm involved in the IMG group. And yeah, I'm working on quality of experience in immersive systems. Thank you.
Hello, it's Adrian from the University of Malaga. Last year, we collaborated together with KISAI as a contribution for the white test bed here in VQEG. I'm a researcher of quality experience too. Thank you.
Lucas, I think it's your turn.
Thank you. Lucas Rasula here. I'm a long-term VQEG member, mostly active in statistical analysis methods and no reference metrics currently. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carlos Cortés. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the UPM, Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. My work focuses on the evaluation of the quality of experience in interactive XR experiences. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have gone through everyone. I think Lohik is still. Did you want to add something, Lohik, or you just have your hands raised still?
I believe it's an old hand, but I just want to read loud for the record and for the live
Yeah,
recording.
no, sorry, Shell. I was, no, nothing more. Sorry. Just.
Yes. As I was saying on the chat thread, we have Abderrazak, who says, "Hey everyone, I'm having trouble with my mic. I'm currently a postdoc within XLIM lab, and I work on visual quality assessment." And we also have Lucas Thies, who, "Hi everyone, I'm currently unable to use my mic as well. I recently left my job at DeepMind, where I worked on neural compression and Gen AI, and I'm now working on a startup related to subjective quality evaluation." Thank you to both for making the self-introduction by chat. Back to you, Shel.
Yeah, thank you, Anis. And is there anyone now online that have not introduced him or herself? Okay, hearing none. So let's move on then to the status update from the project and the working groups, and I will basically take the order from the maybe I can even share the layout of the screen of the project. Okay, for everyone who are not familiar with this, we have most or all our information on the VQEG homepage. And here are this small description of the projects and or working groups, and they are divided into different categories. But on top of everything is AVHD, both on the objective and subjective. So do we have any representative for that group that can give an update? think we have a presentation tomorrow afternoon, but apart from that.
I can give a brief update for AVHD.
Okay,
So,
please go ahead.
generally, I put presentations into AVHD that are generally on improving subjective test methods or objective metrics that don't fit to any of the other topics. So it's kind of a catch-all. There isn't so much project work generally as it's a very, currently at least, it's more a general category for a wide range of presentations. So thank you.
Yeah, I could also add that the two co-chairs, both Sylvie Borer and Shahid, have asked to step down from AVHD. They have been very active before into the collaboration with the ITU for producing new standardized objective quality metrics. And I think during the session tomorrow, which I think we have plenty of time, after the presentation that is announced, we could have a short session, see if we can get anyone to step in to be a co-chair of AVHD, or if we should continue with it as is, or if we should maybe make it dormant. I don't know. That could be something to discuss tomorrow. I think we have the time. But for the update, we can continue with the let's say the new working group, multimedia experience and human factors, MEF. That's how to pronounce it.
Yes, it's quite hard to pronounce. Maybe I can make the introduction because I was like proposing this this group. I made like 3 or 4 slides about it. Can you see them?
Yes, we can see them, Nikolai.
Yes. Okay, great. So yes, indeed, it's quite a new group because at the last meeting we had a number of presentations that were related to the human factors in multimedia experience, and we didn't have a place to present them. So the idea was that we could make like a special working group that just focuses on these topics. And basically it aims to organize the presentations and discussions in a dedicated session during VQEG meetings. And the idea is to allow some comprehensive understanding on how human factors affect the perception and the quality and the quality of multimedia content. The group is not focused at the standardization, however, it's not excluded. It's just optional. And there are like 3 objectives. The first is to provide a platform for discussing the latest research on human factors in audiovisual and multimedia experiences. The second topic is to organize the related presentations into like a single cohesive session during VQEG meetings, and then to support the development and optional standardization of assessment methodologies in this area. So basically the group will be probably focusing various topics, like including the user experience, subjective assessment methodologies, and psychological and physiological effects of multimedia consumption. And even if we had like lots of presentations last time, actually for this meeting, there are not so many presentations. Actually, I found like only one. That is co-authored by me myself, and also Lucian and David Juszka and Dominika Vanet, my PhD student. And this presentation, well, that is a publication that was published at the conference in September this year, and we'll repeat it on the slot the first slot of Tuesday, tomorrow, and it's scheduled for as the presentation number 213. It's about the IoT device in testing QoS and QA. So there were much more presentations at the last meeting, but unfortunately, once the group was created this time, there are not so many presentations, but I think in general, we don't have so many presentations this time at this VQEG meeting because the gap between the previous one and this one was like only 4 months. So I'm still not afraid about that next time we'll populate the presentation in or the slot with more presentations. I've also heard that that might be a presentation coming from Maria Martini, but I don't know if she is with us right now. Are you here or not? I believe she has not joined yet. So otherwise, well, we'll see. But probably we'll have only one. So that's like everything, and yeah, see you at the math session on Tuesday tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikolaj. We move on to quality assessment for health applications. So, hearing none, I don't see if...
I didn't notice any of the chairs present themselves, so maybe we should just skip.
Yeah, let's move on. And I think the SAM is the next on the list, please.
Hello. So SAM is statistical analysis method, and we are working mostly on the statistical analysis, but also on how to make subjective experiments such that we can make better conclusions. And this, we also have got each month we've got a call, and you can join it just anytime. We've got a working document, so you can catch up and see what we are doing. And this meeting, we've got three technical presentations, and one discussion about the future of SAM. So SAM was created quite some time ago. We've got some goals described on the website, and we would like to discuss it. Some goals were achieved, some were not even touched. So we kind of need to update the future of SAM. Thank you. And yeah, it's Thursday in the evening session, and I really encourage everyone to join to be able to discuss, because maybe even if you are not so much interested in statistical analysis method, you could bring something very interesting and important for us to develop future of the SAM group. Thank you very much.
And for the record, because he's not with us, the other co-chair apart from myself is Zili from Netflix. I think because of time zone, he might be joining later.
Okay, great. Thank you for the update. So let's move on to CGI, computer generated imagery.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I created a few slides only to give you a short review on the CGI. So me and Nabajit basically currently chairing this group. So we started this group, we formed this group to work on evaluation and analyzing or running even subjective tests of computer generated imagery. So but it's mostly currently working in gaming, and the reason is clear. So me and Nabajit are heavily working on the gaming side. Currently, we don't have any presentation scheduled for this meeting, but we will have some discussion in the future of CGI on Wednesday. And just to give you a bit heads up on that, so we are thinking to slightly change the direction with a bit new, basically chairs. But so if you're interested to move the CGI towards a new direction like point cloud rendering side, so feel free to reach out. We are looking for potential new leading partner or changing slightly, you know, the whole group. Because the gaming side we can still, you know, bringing to other groups like Norm or other groups that we have. So in general, like it was heavily working on ITUT, basically recommendations. At least it started to work on some of the cloud gaming recommendation or the work item at the time. So some of them become a recommendation and some others are still ongoing work item in ITUT study group 12. We also work on some data set creation, which I think we have reported them in the past, so I will not add them here. So yeah, if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me and Nabajit. So I'm sorry that Nabajit's email is not correct, so it should be at sciensony.com. I forget to update that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Zaman. So after that, we have the Norm project.
So that's myself and Yanis. And Yanis, do you want to go first and I'll fill in whatever you miss?
By all means. Yes, so this is the No Reference Metrics group. And as the title says, the ambition of the group is to cover the assessment of video quality in the absence of a reference. And this has been driven this is a thing that has occurred at VQEG time and again, but we are looking into this old problem with a new lens, maybe having a little bit lower expectations. So the current, I can say, main activity is to produce a scope and restrict to a point that we will achieve a consensus and a potential standard. That's really the North Star right now. And a lot of this also came from the recent joint acknowledgement from ITUT that there is renewed interest through the JNORF initiative that we'll hear about it. In the most recent calls, we decided we had originally placed the most, let me say, popular today's application, which is adaptive streaming and the prediction of both source quality as it is captured by a camera and also the quality as it's presented in the adaptive streaming scenario as being the dominant type of content that we would like Norm to focus. But after the most recent discussion, we maybe shuffled the deck a little bit under the acknowledgement that nowadays there are no reference quality assessment of Gen AI content that is generated, for example, from large language models, is of higher priority, or at least equal priority to what we thought before. And we have a few slides and thoughts on this, Margaret. Margaret, to you, because I don't remember the specifics of how many, and we do have quad weekly, or I should say monthly calls in general that happen on Monday, but please, I will let Margaret, who is more up to date on the details. Margaret.
I'm muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Margaret.
Thank you, sorry. As Yanis said, we're having monthly calls. They are fairly well attended where we discuss this topic, and we're keeping the notes in a Google Doc that's connected to the VQEG website. So you can easily catch up with us. We'd love to have your input on this. Our goal is that there is at least one and likely more than one no reference model that VQEG recognizes as accurate enough to be used by industry and trusted by industry. So at that point, you know, improvements are possible, but our goal is to prove that it can be done, has been done, and here's the model. And I'm really excited that we are making serious progress toward that. If you do work in the area, we'd love to have you attend or at least just mention your model to us so that we can take a look at it and try to join pieces of your model with ours. And the same for if you have any data sets. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret and Janice. Here in the list, we have the Implementer's Guide to Video Quality Metrics, but I believe that is now also belonging to the JEG hybrid. So maybe I leave it to JEG Hybrid to update.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm co-chair of the JEG Hybrid, and so I will report about both of them since the IGBQM project was merged in JEG Hybrid a few meetings ago. And yeah, actually, you know that JEG Hybrid from the name was originally meant to develop a no-reference hybrid perceptor bitstream model, but you know, over the course of time, things have changed a little bit, and now we are tackling more basic research questions, hopefully with some longer-term impact on the video quality research community. And actually, currently in the project, we have in the group, sorry, we have different projects going on. Maybe the main one is trying to model single observer's behaviors, actually through the use of deep neural networks. And Loic will have a couple of presentations on this on Thursday, the slot allocated to the JEG Hybrid group. And so that's our main research focus currently. And we are also working to create a large data set of high quality images with a high resolution, because we feel that maybe we should experiment with deep neural network that can take as an input something which is bigger than the usual 224 by 224 patch in terms of resolution. But I mean, we are still quite early in this work, and I mean, we don't have results yet. We're still investigating. And as we were saying before, actually, we merged the activities of the IGVQM project, so the Implementer's Guide to the Video Quality Metrics, into the JEG Hybrid. And I'm glad that this time, I mean, I will have a short presentation with actually a concrete plan of what we are going to do, because I found a couple of people, I mean, actually master's thesis students working on this, and they're actually working on this. So I hope that for the next meeting we will have some results, and we can actually progress towards the goal of the project that basically was, I mean, still is to have a large set of subjectively annotated data set where we also have objective scores like VMAF and all the other common objective metrics. And we can, let's say, build on these results and write and construct some reports and guidelines about how to best use all these metrics that are currently available, and maybe providing also some hints on important aspects like how to, I mean, standardize things like logistic mappings of these metrics to some linearized scale of sort of prediction of subjective quality and so on. So I'm glad that we have some new resources working on the project, and I hope to be able to report more on this. And for the moment, we will have a plan of the activities that I would like to discuss with you on Thursday in the JEG Hybrid stop. I think that's all from the group. Yeah, Yannis, you have a question?
Sally, if I may take the microphone, first of all, I'm happy because, as you know, I tried to lead for a couple of years the effort. And I would like to also add to the scope of this something that I realized over the last year or so in participating in various conferences, that there is maybe a more mundane task that can go into this, the implementer's guide. There are multiple people, not one or two researchers, who are calculating quality metrics in what I call the wrong domain, right? They are calculating, for example, VMAF in RGB domain, or SSIM in RGB domain, and so on and so forth. So there is a little bit more ground stakes that we need to build for those who do not know about either subjective or objective metrics. Literally, what is the function? How do you call it? How do you verify it? So even before you go to the more advanced, like mappings, which one correlates better, just how to calculate things should be really the most important for the newcomers that are not necessarily with appropriate background in either quality or quality metrics. And I found many people who asked me, and they said, oh, we don't have a reference. if we can come up with a reference, a white paper that people can access directly, then they can list it and use it in their research. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Actually, yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, I didn't expect to be so basic, I would say, but I mean, I don't want to anticipate too many things, but yeah, I mean, one of the things I would like to show, I mean, during the development of the activities is also what happens if you do something wrong, like you use wrong, wrong settings for the measures and so on. Okay, thank you. I think that's all for JGAIBID.
Thank you, Enrico. And Yanis, yeah, I could also add to that it's very easy to go go wrong. I mean, even with VMAF, even if you use the YUV, you can use the wrong YUV and you get the wrong results with VMAF as well. So okay, moving on, we have Cracovia. Nikolai.
Okay, again, I have just a couple of slides. Just let me present them.
Please.
Just a second. Can you see them? Okay, so
yes.
Cracovia stands for, thank you, for quality assessment for computer vision applications. And the mission of the group is to study the visual quality requirements for computer vision methods. And Cracovia is a kind of follow-up of the previous project in VQEG that was called QUART, Quality Assessment for Recognition Tasks. And here we investigate methods for visual quality assessment that are used to not to estimate the quality from the human perspective, but from the perspective of the computer vision algorithms. So mainly we are interested in how the quality affects the performance of some recognition tasks. And so we have like 3 goals. The first is to develop some testing methodologies and frameworks to identify the limit of computer vision methods with respect to the visual quality of the images. To also to study the minimum quality requirements and objective visual quality measures to estimate if the visual content is operating region of the is in the operating region of the computer vision, and finally to deliver some algorithms that are implementable, which are like proof of concept or which demonstrate the concepts of the objective video quality assessment methods for recognition tasks. We had 2 recent publications of VQEG people, let's say, and that were presented at the recent conferences or journals. The first one is the publication made by my PhD student, Meher Unisa, who will also present it today. And this presentation was, or sorry, this paper was published at the conference this year in September. Another one is the paper that was published in the EURESIC Journal on Image and Video Processing, also in September this year. The first one is going to be presented just after the introductions or the updates. The title is The Comparative Performance Analysis of Deep Learning Architecture in Underwater Image Classification. And as far as I know, the second one is not going to be presented at this VQEG. At the end, I would just like to mention that we have 3 co-chairs in this activity. So besides me, there's also Patrick Lecale and Liu Zhang from, Patrick from the University of Nantes and Liu from Rennes, in Saint-Rennes. Okay. That's basically everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolai. Let's move on to the 5G KPI.
Hi. So one slide for 5G KPI. The aim of the group is to study the relationship between the communication network KPIs, mostly 5G, but not necessarily restricted to that, and the QoE of the video services on top of them. So we are kind of under the domain of QoE management and quality of service to quality of experience mapping, let's say. And in fact, right now, our vision or goal is to develop models and frameworks for which are applicable for in practice to QoE management in 5G advanced or 6G. There's a very limited possibilities of understanding and managing QoE in 5G networks. And we think that there is this gap could be covered by basically improving that, because there's knowledge in the state of the art, which can be mapped and sold to the industry, let's say. So we started to work in this particular topic in the last few months, and we had a milestone in the last meeting in Klagenfurt, where we hosted a workshop on this QoE-QoS relationship. And as an outcome of the workshop, we decided to work on a white paper to structure the ideas of the topic. And this is what we are working on now. And we'll have a presentation tomorrow to share what we are doing and the current state, so that anyone can also give us feedback and contribute if you are interested. And later on, with this result, we will try to use this to engage a larger audience within research and industry community, and maybe, well, we haven't discussed next steps yet, but probably write a position paper or 90T contribution or a 3DV contribution or something else we need to discuss later on. We are still on the working phase on trying to reorganize the ideas and discuss on the topic. We are 3 people on the chairing part of the group: François Blouin and Seth Brunstorm, together with myself. And there's a number of relevant contributors. We will see them probably tomorrow in our session. We meet bi-weekly, mostly bi-weekly. Sometimes we cancel some meetings. So if you are interested to participate, I invite you to, of course, to participate tomorrow on the session. And if you want to contribute later on, just reach me or Francois or Shell and join us to this effort. We'll probably gather more people in the next future, so we might be calling you anyway, even if you don't volunteer in the next feature, let's say. So that's all, and see you tomorrow on the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo, for the update. We move on with the Emerging Technology Group.
Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Navajit.
Now they disappeared.
Okay. I think I need to... Does this work?
Yeah, we see them now. And they are not in presentation mode, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I will use in this mode. Hi, everyone. I am Navajit from SIE, and I am chairing this group together with Saman, which is the Emerging Technologies Group. Just as an overview of the group, so we founded this group 2 years back, actually, to explore new areas and research domains that might affect the ongoing efforts at VQEG. And this is something related to what Yanis also brought up, like people from different communities are using metrics and doing subjective tests in ways which are probably not the right way to do. And that was the main goal of this group, and also to learn what the other communities or other domains are doing. For example, the works that goes into the computer vision community and all, which related to new AI generated and enhanced content. So that was the basic goal. We wanted to explore different topics like ML-based compression, quality assessment, enhancement, the other ongoing efforts for greening of streaming and all. So in past 2 years, we had several invited talks from researchers from different industry and academia, as well as from all over the world. You can see a list here. I will not go through this. The slides will be shared later. And then last week, spring meeting, we had a lot of presentations. One of the presentations that was done by Avijay on assessing quality of AI-generated image and videos, that led to a publication. So joint publication, which is under review right now, but the preprint is available on archive, which highlights the trends and opportunities in the field of quality prediction of AI-generated and enhanced images and videos. So if you are interested, you can have a look here. We have 3 presentations scheduled for this meeting. One is tomorrow during the first session, the first presentation by Dr. Matthias Wien on approach for evaluation of call for proposal responses in MPEG. And then we have 2 more presentations on Wednesday afternoon session starting at 3:05 UK time. One of which will be given by me, which will be kind of a summary of the paper that I just mentioned and some highlights of the recent works in the field of quality assessment of AIGC and AIEC. And then the other presentation will be by Vijay on the foundation models on how they boost low-level perceptual similarity metrics. So and these are the presentations scheduled for this meeting. We also are currently submitting a special session proposal to QMX. You can see the organizers here together with Dr. Waisu from Cardiff, Professor Bovik from University of Texas at Austin, and my colleague Saman and Professor Guangta Zhao from HJTU. China, we are submitting a proposal for quality assessment of AI-generated and AI-enhanced content. If you are interested in submitting a paper, please let us know so that we can mention that in the proposal that we are going to submit. So that's all from my side. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to reach out to me or someone.
Very good. Thank you. Then we have the last but not least of the actual working group with the Immersive Media Group.
Yes, let me share some slides. Can you see them?
Yes.
Okay, so the Immersive Media Group is working on quality assessment of immersive media in all its variants, from 360-degree content to virtual, augmented, or mixed reality, light field, point clouds, etc. The goals are to set up some baselines on quality assessment of this type of systems, generating data sets, and also quality of experience guidelines, subjective methodologies, and objective metrics. Currently, the main joint activity is this test plan that we are working on for some years, I would say already. That is evaluation of immersive and interactive communication systems. This is a joint group with ITU. So the idea is to, there are like 13 labs involved. We have carried out some experiments, and the idea is to generate a recommendation on subjective assessment of this type of communication systems. We will provide some update on the status of this recommendation. The email reflector, you have it on the screen, and the chairs are myself, Pablo, and Sensuan Chen. In this meeting, we have 3 presentations, one on ITU recommendations for interactive experiments by Lucian and Margaret. Then we have 2 from Emin on point clouds and light fields. And the last one, all of this is today, after, I think it's Cracovia. So then we will start, and we will end this session with checkpoint on the status of the recommendation PIXC that we are working on. So it will not be a presentation. It will be just to go through the document that we are working on and check what is the status, and also any comment or recommendation are more than welcome. Shell, if you agree, as always, I can also present the ACM SIGMEM records. So I don't.
Yes, please.
Go back.
That would be
So this is
next.
A dissemination, I mean, opportunity that we have to provide some information about what we are doing on this ACM SIGMEM records. SIGMEM stands for Special Interest Group for Multimedia. This is a newsletter that is available in ACM. It's like an official publication and can be checked in the SIGMEM website, but also on the ACM digital library. So these records have different sections on different topics. Some of the columns are related to standardization organizations, and there is one column for MPEG, one column about JPEG, and one column also for VQEG. So we publish 4 issues per year, and normally there are 2 issues to report on these plenary meetings, another 2 issues to any other topic. So if you are interested in, you have any ideas or you want to join these efforts, just let me and Shell know. So unfortunately, I had not much time on the last months to update on this. So the last column was published in April, and there are work to do, more than work done in this last month. So I am preparing the column that will report on our July's meeting. Then I will work, and also it will include this IMG meeting that we had in September in Netherlands. And then I will work on the column for this plenary meeting. As I said, some of the work is piling up, so if any volunteers to help, they are more than welcome. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. That kind of led us seamlessly over to some support groups, like the outreach, and the most active outreach is actually the SIGMEM records that has been very nicely led by Jesus primarily. So many thanks to him for driving it. There is also the VQEG letter, but that has been dormant for now for some time, and mostly of lack of kind of push. So from the editor, which is myself and Naim. So there are also the human factors for visual experiences led by Maria Martini, if she's, and Patrick Lacalé. I haven't seen neither of them today. Then there is the joint Qualinet VQEG team on immersive media that is basically led by myself, and also I think at least Lucas and Jesus also involved, as well as from the ITU side, Alex usually reports, but that's more on the ITU. So I could just briefly mention so Qualinet is an organization mostly European based, and has been coming from a financial model in Europe called cost actions, but there have not been any funding for at least 10 years, I think, and but it's still you have activities, and the work there is done in what is known as task forces. They meet once a year, usually co-located with COMEX, and the last one was in Karlshamn, Sweden this year. And I can just show you very quickly task forces that are on their homepage. So their homepage is qualinet.eu. So they have one task force on where you can basically read about it, but I will read the topic line: managing of web and cloud QE. We have gaming. So quality assessment for imagery for machine integration purposes. Qualinet databases. This is an excellent resource of annotated databases. I'm sure you can talk to Lukas if you want to know more about it. I would say one of the bigger success of Qualinet. And then you have a task force of crowdsourcing. Then there is let's say the corresponding workforce or task force for giving updates between Qualinet and VQEG, and so I gave a presentation at the meeting in Karlshamn about VQEG, and then there is also the task force on immersive media experiences and a task force on the future directions of Qualinet, and basically the running of the websites, or maybe a new website. I'm not so sure how up to date these are, but that's the information we have on the website. So I will then say stop sharing somewhere. Now I have so many windows, I don't find the. There we are. Sorry, my computer is a bit slow. Okay, having said that, I will go to we have also very nice tools and subjective lab setup group where we have collected the tools and other useful programs. Do we have anyone here today that could tell anything about this group? Okay, let me share again. So there is a link on the VQEG website which leads you to another website. So it's called for VQEG Tools and Subjective Labs Setup Group. Here are a number of useful tools that have been collected over the years, and so if you want to, for instance, have software for running quality analysis, encoding, there are also tools for subjective test software and so on. And if you have anything that you can share, please reach out to this group and they will put your software so it's available for everyone to use, which is very good. And I think we also have the two groups, video archive support and VQEG administration and web support, which is basically what led by Margaret. Do you have any updates on this? I see the whole website has a new look.
Yes, so we had a facelift recently. It was a long time in the doing, and we had some nice support to give a little bit of a facelift to the VQEG website. If you have any content changes you'd like, if you have any pictures to put up or something that didn't work well in the transition, please let me know and we can make those updates. And you notice that the VQEG FTP service has completely gone away. All of the files for a while now have been embedded into the VQEG website. So you click to expand that list of files. I'm told that's a more secure solution than FTP. Regardless, also, I'd like to know while I have the floor, please send me your presentations and look in the list of presentations. I filled out file names. VQEG years ago agreed to a standard file name convention to help people find the presentations that go, the files that go with different presentations. So please put that at the beginning of your file names. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. I think we also usually, if there are some updates from standardization, if you have some representative or some people that are attending like ITU study groups or MPEG or something, there could be a slot here to give a brief update on what's going on those organization that is relevant for the group. So is there anyone willing to say something here? Yanis?
Yes, I will speak very in broad strokes on what's going on in the AO Media, the Alliance for Open Media. For those who don't know, Alliance for Open Media is a group that strives to offer standards on the premise of royalty-free. And the best known of existing standards is AV1. So very recently at the ICIP 2024, AO Media had a workshop where progress was presented towards what is referred to as AVM, essentially the effort that at some point will lead to a newer video standard. The metrics-based improvements showed approximately 26-27% with in standardization, PSNR is still, I can say, dominant, but also VMAF and SSIM are reported routinely. There was also some subjective tests performed and reported, something I think of more relevance to this group, where subjectively the improvements are even higher. And that's why the group has actually set the target, if you like to call it, to achieve 40% subjective quality improvement, driven by some objective metrics, but subjective is the goal here. There was also a report on the activities around a new audio codec standard that is in the works, and also the volumetric visual media work that is proceeding with a fairly aggressive deadline to achieve a standard in approximately a year from now. That's the very short report. Anyone interested, please ping for more details.
Thank you, Yanis. Were there something? Nabajit, did you have anything to add?
I just wanted to ask Yanis if those resources were available, because I saw about the workshop, but I couldn't find any recordings or slides. So if they are available, it would be great to have them.
Yeah, we collected and collated all the presentations. I will need to double check whether this was finally approved, and I will share with this group a Google Drive where people can download and see for themselves all the material that was presented in Abu Dhabi about a month ago.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else that would like to raise something from going on in standardization that is relevant to bring up here? Okay, then I think we can basically close the VQEG overview of the projects. Did I miss anything? Do we need to add anything before moving on with the other topics? Okay, also hearing none. Then I say we close this part of the meeting and we move on with Cracovia, and I will hand it over to Mikolaj to run this session.
Hi. Okay, thank you. It's gonna be kind of a short session because we have only one presentation here, and the presentation is going to be given by my PhD student Meher Unisa. So Meher, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. And let me just
Okay,
connect my.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I will switch off my
I'll
mic.
just
So
connect
the
my
floor is yours.
Wi-Fi. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just connecting my camera and I'll start the presentation now. Yeah, so I have to share my screen. Okay, so I hope I'm audible and my
Yes.
screen is also visible. Is
Yes.
everything okay? Shall I
Yes.
start?
Yes. Yeah, but
So I
please,
start.
okay, now is the full screen. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so I start with my presentation and it's about the comparative performance analysis of deep learning architectures in underwater image classification. And my full name is Mehrun Nisa. I'm a student of AGH University of Krakow in PhD in telecommunications under Dr. Professor Mikule, and my co-supervisor is Dr. David. We have the collaboration with Professor Yi Zheng, and I shall start with the introduction of my project, which was training of 4 different convolution neural network models like VGG16, Inception V3, EfficientNet V0, and SimCLR with the same data set of 5,000 underwater images. It was like we kept the database same, but we tested the same database, like 4 different models were actually trained on these images. So we just applied some processing techniques for training of these models, and then we evaluated the performance of these 4 models. And the last result was to select the best performance model, or to vote for the best performance model here. The problem statement comes with classifying underwater images challenging because due to scattering and absorption, which causes the distortion and blurriness in the images, and it basically degrade the image clarity. Evaluating and enhancing advanced CNN models like VGG, Inception V3, EfficientNet V0, and SimCLR is crucial for improving the accuracy of underwater images. It benefits the marine research and navigation. So there are like 4 objectives that we were focusing during this project. Number 1 was performance and comparison of classification accuracy among the 4 models for classifying underwater images, and identification of strength and weaknesses of the CNN model, and along with the challenges that we can address, like underwater images that are taken underwater are not like the normal images, because they have, like, varying light conditions and low visibilities, blurriness, image distortion, and also determining the most effective deep learning approaches for marine biology and environmental monitoring, optimizing deep learning methods to improve AUVs, autonomous underwater vehicles, for real-time classification of marine life infrastructure health monitoring, and damage detection. So the methodology starts with the first point. RGB images were taken for the model VGG16, Inception V3, and EfficientNet V0, while SimCLR model processes gray images. So only for the SimCLR, we took the grayscale images, and for the other three models, we used the same RGB images, because the other three models, they works best for RGB, and SimCLR, they works best for the grayscale images. That was the reason. So the classification was executed on 5,000 underwater images collected from different resources. And the subjects of these images had a lot of quite a lot of diverse variety, like statues, underwater fishes, plants, scuba divers, etc. Okay, so before training our model, we did some data set split. So what we did was we took the 80% of the data set for training and 20% for testing. Then we applied some data processing techniques. So there were like two main data processing techniques that was applied. Number one was clustering. K-mean clustering method is just to group and classify images based on similarity. And then we applied dimensionality reduction. For dimensionality reduction, we used PCA, which is known as principal component analysis. After that, the third and final step was to evaluate between the three performing models. And for that, we used some evaluation metrics. That was Silhouette score, Davis-Baldwin index, and Kleneski-Harbus index. We evaluated the performance and clustering of each model. So basically my data set of images looked like this. Like you can see, it had like variety of images. Some were with low quality, some with green shadow water, some with blue water, and it had like multiple of objects, scuba diver, fishes, algae plants, statues, etc. So here I start with the steps of pre-processing images. For training our models, I did some pre-processing of the images. Number one, normalization and splitting the data. As I said before, we did the 80-20 split, 80 for training and 20 for testing. And that was basically to train the model in the best way to avoid overfitting and ensure accurate performance estimate. After that, it comes with an unsupervised clustering algorithm. And the reason why we used k-means, because our data set were unsupervised, and though we can also we can only use unsupervised clustering algorithm. So what it did was it partitions or grouped the data set into k distant overlapping cluster based on feature similarity. And the third is elbow method, as we don't know how many clusters to assign for each group. So we used elbow method to find the optimal number of clusters or best fit number of clusters for better training of the model. So here it's like a graph which shows that for the 10 clusters, the accuracy was best. And as we go more with as we increase the cluster, the accuracy will just decrease. And I can just point here. Okay. So these are the two clusters comparison between VGG16 and Inception V3. Here you can see that this was for VGG16 and this was for Inception V3. Now the concept is for the cluster is that more diversity or scattered it is. It's like not a very good accuracy or not a very good cluster. And the more the colors are, more the diversity is, it means better clustering. So here you can see that in VGG16, there was only like 4 colors. And in Inception V3, a lot of colors, but it was scattered, not grouped well. So then we came towards the EfficientNet V0, and here you can see that we had more colors, better grouping, but there was like a lot of scattering with the clusters. So in the end, we came to the SimCLR, where the elbow method shows us for the SimCLR that the best clusters to be selected will be 20. So we selected 20 colors, and for 20 colors, you can see there were like a lot of colors, a lot of color patterns, closely attached, grouped, and not too much of clustering. So then we performed the evaluation metrics just to check the four of the models. And here we had the three evaluation metrics. Number one was Silhouette score. So for the idea is it's like ranges from -1 to 1. The closer to 1, better means it means better clustering. For Davies-Baldwin, lower values indicate better clustering, and for Klanisky, the higher the better for good clustering. The reference values should be taken from the index of Klansky and index of Silhouette to have an approximate idea of the quality of a model of clustering. High values means good clustering. So this was basically the result. It was like for VGG, the Silhouette score was -0.05. For Inception, it was a little bit better, 0.02. For net B0, it was almost the same, but if we see the results for SimCLR, it was from minus, it jumped to positive 0.3. For Davies, it was like 5.5, 5, 4.9. As I said, Davies, the lower the value, the better the clustering is. So for the SimCLR, it was 0.9. And for Kalaninsky, as I said, the higher the value, the better the clustering is. So for VGG16, Inception V0, and Efficient Net V0, you can see the jump here. But if we look towards the SimCLR, it was a bigger number, like in thousands. So this was basically the result, and the conclusion was that performance of the four models was assessed, and among the four models evaluated, SimCLR model proved to be superior in performance, especially in clustering of or dealing with unsupervised images. The study highlights that advancements in underwater imaging technology have the potential to significantly benefit marine research and robotic operations. Further development of such model can always help for marine life classification and damage detection for AUVs, and exploration of replacing traditional training approaches with self-supervised learning to reduce the reliance on costly labeled data. So yeah, this is it. And if you guys have any question, we can discuss that. Yes, I think someone has a question.
Yanis,
Yes, thank you, Mer. Very interesting, and I have a personal connection to the K-means algorithm. So I realized that the feature space you used is only the two principal components. So your vector essentially are two numbers, right?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
What was the size of your vectors that you applied K-means to?
What was the size of my database? This is the question?
No. K-means works on vectors, right? You classify,
Yes.
you cluster vectors. What is the dimension of your vectors? Is it 2, as you indicate on these plots?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you experiment with more higher dimension vectors?
Not really, because for my experiment, it was only the four algorithms, like the four models that were VGG16, Inception 3, Efficient Net B0, and SimCLR. So it was only the four models, and I didn't change my data set, but I used the same techniques with four models, and then I evaluated that which is the best acting model for my data set.
I understand. My question and suggestion, if you haven't done it, is to consider 3 or 4 principal components and apply clustering in this space, because sometimes you have essentially manifolds forming in higher dimensions that when you project on 2 dimensions, they do not really show. So while you did a thorough analysis by constraining only 2 principal components, I suggest you repeat this with 3 and 4. Hopefully you will find the same results, and therefore this is a conclusion. But using only 2 is, in my opinion, very low dimensionality.
Okay.
Hi, I also have a question.
Lucas, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Lucas.
I've got. So what I do see here is that the elbow method is not really showing, a very clear elbow, I would say. Have you also considered other methods than k-means, for example, dbScan or something that does not really lean on your input when it comes to the number of clusters?
Well, I only used elbow method because what I researched was that for k-means, the best one is the elbow method. Like, for example, I cannot suppose that what clusters should be the best clusters. So for k-means or for unsupervised clustering algorithm, for unsupervised data set, it was like suggested that elbow method is the best one. So I just selected the elbow method. But I didn't use any other method in this. I only used elbow method.
Yeah, that I understand. What I was saying is, yeah, because from these results, it seems that the k-means with combination with elbow method may not be the best approach here, or it could also be caused by the dimensionality, as Yanis mentioned before. But maybe something to look at as well. Other types of algorithms than k-means that are unsupervised, but do not require you to have a parameter of the number of clusters. Just a
Okay.
suggestion here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the suggestion. I should look up for that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Shireen?
Yes, I have a question. Maybe it's a little dark. My question is that how do you think these methods that you have mentioned and used could be applicable for robotic operations, as there are some challenges in robotic operations, like we need to have a low latency for streaming the video, or then there is something on top of that, like processing images for categorizing. But how do you think that this method could be helpful for robotic operations?
Like for robotic, as I said that like for any operations, like for modeling of the for training of your models, you need some supervised data, but we not only always get supervised data. So it can totally, like, if a work is carried out on this research and if it's a success, then it's basically a replacement of traditional training approaches to self-supervised data, which can help because we can just have the random pictures that are taken underwater, and we cannot always first classify them or categorize them and then train our model. That's hectic. That's very, the first process will be to classify the images, to categorize it, to make it supervised, then to train our models. So I think it can just replace the traditional way. And as it can be used with the AUVs, with autonomous underwater vehicles, for the monitoring or for the monitoring of underwater images, for taking underwater images. Yeah, I think it can be used with that too.
Thank you. And Nikolai and Mer, I want to ask you if you have a tentative paper that you think it might be relevant to remote control system or autonomous remote operation relevant to what you are doing. We are thinking about having a special session in quality of experience. Maybe we could have offline chats regarding this topic. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we can maybe have an email conversation and have the extra call for just especially for this topic. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Shireen. Okay. Are there any further questions regarding the presentation that was given by Meher? Okay, I see no questions. So thank you, Meher, for sharing this work with VQEG. And this actually concludes the Cracovia session this time. It was really short. So thank you. And Shell, I think you can continue with the next session.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you both for the session and a nice presentation. Yeah, I think we can immediately hand it over to, or did you have any updates here, Margaret, or?
No updates.
Okay, so then I think I suggest we move on with the IMG.
Okay, thank you, Shel. Welcome to the IMG session. As I said before, we have 3 presentations and then a little bit of time for checking the status of the recommendations. So we can start with the first presentation, that is 208 by Lucian and Margaret on ITU recommendations for interactive experiments.
Hello, I will present it. Hopefully it can be visible. Yes, unfortunately presenting, I cannot see your raise hand or something like that. So if you've got any questions, please just
I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so my idea was to go through the recommendations that are 13 something, like 1301, for example, to better understand what we already have about interactive communication, like doing a little bit step back, and then hopefully bringing kind of important conclusions to the IMG. At the beginning, I think it is very important that we know and understand what we are measuring, because actually there are, like, assuming that we've got a communication, let's say we've got communication between a VR system and a video conferencing system, and then this communication goes through a server. It means goes through, I'm not speaking about specific server, but more like a specific application. So we can imagine 2 scenarios. So what we are interested is user, so how users see the application, so specific application. And this is, of course, UX, much more than quality of experience. And this kind of measurements is very strongly focused on the application itself. So let's say we develop an application for creating new car. In virtual reality, we create the car and we kind of consult some ideas of this creation of the car. So, and then, of course, any test that we do is focused on this one application and specific things within this application. We can imagine that this scenario also takes into account the network problems, but probably we will be much more focused on the application itself. I doubt we can actually do some very clear targets about how this should be measured, because it's so much dependent on the application that actually researchers that do it, they have to decide it by seeing the application itself. Then the second scenario is user preferred network. So now we would like to have some results that are to some extent independent from the application. We cannot do it completely independently, but to some extent independent from the application, but we are focusing on the network itself. And then kind of obviously what we measure influence how we measure it. Yeah? So the moment we are focusing on this scenario, which in my opinion is by far the most important for IMG or for this group in general. So we are not focused, we wouldn't like to focus on the specific application, just on how to measure the network influence on different applications. Then we should develop a specific methods. And what was surprising actually for me is that 1301 describes how we should do it. Although I'm not attending all the IMG meetings, but as far as I know, we didn't consider it. or at least I'm not aware. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So 1301 describes exactly if we have a new test design, we should check naturalness, which means how close it is for the real world application. Balance, so how much our test is really balanced between the participants, because maybe there is one person that is much more talking much more, and this could be okay because we could test a scenario like now. So I'm giving a lecture kind of or presentation, and then obviously this is asymmetric system, but still we should kind of consider it. And comparability, so between scenarios, we've got, I don't know, 2 different scenarios, and I present about I don't know, stars, and I present about wildlife, and then we kind of compare if maybe wildlife is more sensitive to delay than stars, yeah, which is silly example. Okay, then again, the same 1301 gives us statistics that we should show within the scenario. So duration deviation of the scenario with the error bars and 95% of the confidence interval. So it means we run specific scenario a couple of times and we calculate how long it took to do whatever was the task, whatever was the interaction about, etc. Deviation between interlocutors. This is funny word, interlocutor. This word was even funny for Margaret. So I'm sure we kind of should decide, are we interested in keeping this word in the new recommendation and kind of use it? It's to some extent it's nice because it's very clear. Yeah, it's so strange word, you have to check it. The moment you will check it, you will learn that this is interlocutor is a party in the conversation, which is very close to what we want to test. So this is nice word to some extent, but in my opinion, it's good to point to it and also decide if we want to keep it in the next recommendations. It's not super consistent between the recommendation. Then duration. So sorry, but I focus on the interlocutor itself. But what we should test is deviation between interlocutor groups. So we should check if, for example, one group make this task faster and the other slower, or maybe one group had problems with making the task and another didn't, things like that. Yeah, duration in the interlocutor groups with the 2 factorial analysis of variance and experiment conditions. So we should check if the conditions of the experiment really influence on the results. So all this is described. And Appendix 5 also describes that the task we should check the attention of the task. So how much the task makes people see the testing environment or really interact with the testing environment, and how much people have to interact with something else. Let's say taking IMG case, if we have the escape room scenario, a person has to go and see some clues in the surrounding environment, and by definition, then this person does not interact so much with the remote system, or not necessarily see, for example, that the video of the remote participant or anything with the remote participant went wrong. Then the real life, so it's again naturalness, rewarding, how much it is rewarding, and then how much, so how easy it is. The point, a wide range of subjects should be able to perform the task, so we can change it to how easy it is, etc. Well, there is also kind of strange constraint that in addition, for each test condition, the conversation should last at least 5 minutes. I don't know why. There's no clear reason for that. But since we have all this already in the recommendation, already published, so let's think about it. And I extracted from it like naturalness, balance, comparability between the scenarios, which I changed to regeneration of the scenario. So instead of saying that we've got different scenarios and we are interested how much they are comparable, in my opinion, what we need is a chance to regenerate scenario. So whatever we do, we have to assume, because this is interactive system. So let's say the testers come, they start scenario, and then something crashes. They cannot do again the same scenario because they are already familiar with it. So we have to regenerate the scenario to something new. And in my opinion, the very important, or actually crucial part of interactive system testing is that the testing give you a chance to regenerate, well, maybe not as many, but at least you should be prepared. If you need 10 scenarios to be tested, you should be prepared with 15 of them, just in case of crash, just in case you see that you have to test, learn the I don't know, subjects does not understand how to use the system, and then you lose scenarios, yeah? Then attention, where attention, it's not interest in the task. Attention here is how much we are focusing on the certain system, yeah? For example, video itself. Then rewarding, so this is kind of attention, like how fun it is for testers, how it is easy, and length, stability. So if we cannot kind of, if we can predict the length of the test. And the next thing I did was going through 1301, 1305, and 1312, and there was one recommendation, but I didn't find an interesting task, and go through all the tasks and kind of score them. Subjectively, I discussed it with Margaret, so we can say that this is most of 2 people, yeah. So not very precise. Definitely some of discussion would be needed. Through the scenarios that we already have in the recommendation. Because when we think about new scenarios to be standardized, in my opinion, it would be really good to understand why we are not using the old ones that are already there, and yeah, what are the parameters. What is kind of depressing, in my opinion, is that the same standard that describes us how a new task should be described does not describe the task in this way. It's just like super surprising for me. So for example, we don't have length stability. All the length stability that I give here is my guess, because there's no data. Although they should be, there should be confidence intervals for how long it took. So all those numbers actually are just my and Margaret's guesses. Yeah, we cannot, we don't have any numbers. Besides one test, it will be described at the end. Okay, so first task describing 1301 is find a shape which all participants have. Each participant has an image with shapes. So each participant has an image with shapes, different shapes, and the task is to find a different shape. So naturalness, well, of course, it's not a task that we do every day, but we can imagine looking for some differences. Although probably we would share a screen instead of doing something like that. But anyway, balance is good because everyone has to describe some things. Regeneration, it's easy, it's super easy. We can very easily regenerate the same image. Attention, well, they have to look at the image a lot. So for example, if we are interested in testing the video quality, they won't focus on video too much. So this is definitely a drawback. Rewarding, well, it can be fun, I guess, with lots of words. Easy, definitely very easy. Everyone can do it. And length stability, I actually put it 4.5, but I just realized we discussed it with Margaret. Sorry, I didn't correct this slide. Actually, length stability, we've got some problem because we should find an image that is common for all of us. So if I start from saying, I've got elephant, and every other person says, I have it as well, I have it as well, the task is done. And then for another case, I can say, I have an elephant, I don't have, but I have, I don't know, tiger, I don't have tiger. And then the discussion will be much longer. So actually here it's kind of problem. Also the length for more participants. Yeah. Then there is a brainstorming. participants should find as many possible solutions to a specific problem. This task is really nice. Yeah, we can prepare lots of different topics. Of course, we can have some problems with some participants that do not like, for example, brainstorm too much. We can have a serious problem with balance, and probably we should have a kind of mastermind, someone who is leading the discussion, just in order not to kill the whole discussion. Of course, the naturalness of this task is very, very high. Then the third one is survival task. This is the experiment that is described in already 2 different recommendations that are at least linked to this task. In my opinion, the task is very problematic. So first of all, it's very, very difficult to regenerate this task. So let's say we crash on a desert and we've got some objects. Then crashing on a desert with even new objects, it's pretty similar task, and the discussion will be very different from first discussion, where I have to, I don't know, explain my group that I know that, I don't know, shade is the most important, to the situation where we already discussed what is really important, and now we only discuss about the objects themselves. So what is, in my opinion, problematic is this regeneration, but also length stability is very difficult. And this we know from the internal test at AGH that we did without any technology, just giving subjects some objects and giving them time to discuss. The discussion time was from 2 minutes to 25 minutes before the group really make a decision. So in my opinion, it's kind of surprising that this task is standardized in so many places, because at the end, I have doubts that it's really passing any of those crucial poles or limitations. And then there is celebrity name guessing task. So you should guess what is the celebrity that I have. So I have a celebrity name and some features of this person, and then the person has to guess it. So from my personal point of view, it's horrible task, because I personally don't follow any celebrity, and any celebrity that I know would be probably unknown for anyone else, yeah, because it's like from climbing world or something like that. So in my opinion, it's kind of difficult task, because depending on what people know, it can be very annoying. Like I wouldn't guess probably nearly anyone besides like super famous politicians or something like that. And then of course there are some people that are very much interested and they follow and they probably can guess lots of names. So we unfortunately don't have data about it. So again, we don't know the length stability. We don't know how easy it is. And then again, we should probably prepare a lot of celebrities and to know something about our subjects before even we start the experiment. In my opinion, it's really poor design of the experiment. Now we've got 1305, and this is more focusing on conversation, general description about how to make a task, and provide task are examples. So this is not the tasks that are described there. They are not like the only task that you should do, but more like the examples. Okay, and we've got the task of holiday task. So create a list of features that the ideal holiday would include, and you have 5 minutes for them, and list them in order to of importance. Very nice task, great naturalness, good balance, etc. The only problem is that regeneration is like 0. The moment you have your dream vacation, you cannot do really the task again. So again, in my opinion, kind of a poor task for testing the network itself. Then in the next is role-playing game. This is great. We've got good discussion with Margaret about it. So this task has got obvious problem, because like you have to take role play players. Like there's 0 chance you can do it with random people. If you ask random people to play role-play game, then first of all, they don't know even how to play it, probably. You cannot explain it in 2 minutes. And then lots of people will be like, I'm a I don't know, knight? Not really, yeah? I don't care about some knight, yeah? I don't want to discuss about some imaginary world. But the moment you will take the professional gamers, well, professional, I mean people that do it daily basis, and I guess that in any big city you can kind of easily find them, then this task from like completely impossible to run, in my opinion, change to a task that is great. Well, the population validity, so you get very specific population of people, but those people are playing those games probably physically without any systems, and there is a chance that they also play it in virtual environments from time to time. So those would be really perfect people to test an interactive system, yeah. And especially with new designs like here at Atlas Institute in CU Boulder, there is a bachelor student, and she's working on generating 3D models of this kind of games. Yeah, so we can even imagine a full virtual reality game that someone is leading with some 3D object and with some interaction with those objects. So very, very realistic setup. But as I said, the only problem is we have to get specific users. Beside that, it's okay. With regeneration, of course, we have a problem with regeneration because typically this game is kind of longer. But what we discussed with Margaret is that probably what we could do is just use one game that is long and just divide it to some parts. We definitely need the game master be on our side. It means it's not a random person. It's just a person that we kind of hired, and it's doing all the games with all the people that are coming to the lab. But it also the advantage, because this person can kind of lead and tell the story to a certain end or certain moment, and then stop for, I don't know, quality questions, etc., etc. And then we can restart the scenario with playing the game again. So nice scenario for sure. Navigation task, it's problematic in our opinion, simply because the maps are not used so much anymore. Most of the people just well, navigation means I put something to Google Map and then I go there. And this task assumes that the map is divided to different people, and they have to navigate through the map that is divided by different players. There is a chance that in this scenario, even if we give a map to a single person, the person won't be able to navigate it very easily nowadays, especially a young generation. They didn't have so much exposure to the game, to maps itself. There is a story with missing parts. So we read the story and there are some missing parts and someone should jump like, oh, no, you missed this sentence and things like that. This is easy to regenerate. It can be very rewarding. So this is nice. Of course, the problem is that it's nearly pure audio, which is not a problem for the 1305 recommendation, but in like, if we think about something more general, and especially for virtual reality, it would be kind of strange to do because someone has to be really focused on the text itself. But maybe we can imagine a situation where people have got like sentences and something like that, and those are virtual blocks that they put together as a story. So we can imagine extending this more to virtual reality and focusing less on text and more on interaction. So this is a nice candidate, I would say. Building block task, it is skill dependent for sure. And also Margaret said that she used this task once, and she said that at the end, people were only talking about things, that they were not really interactive with the video so much, although the task was invented to really focus people on cameras because they will show the blocks, etc. At the end, it's easier to describe them than show them. So it's also problematic. And then we've got in 1405, there is a list of tasks that are going from the task, those tasks are fully focused on delay sensitivity. And those are like increasing the naturalness, although all of them are super low on naturalness, but the tasks are kind of changing the sensitivity to delay. So first we take turns in counting, which is like super strange, but very delay sensitive. Takes reading random numbers, take turns verifying random numbers and words with missing letters, etc. So all those tasks are very easy to regenerate, obviously. And this is the advantage. Of course, disadvantage is that we are really focusing on those numbers. Again, for IMG, probably very difficult to generate it in the real life and in the virtual environment. I'm not 100% sure what should be there, but probably we could think about something like that. What I like the most in those tasks is that those tasks give us a very important information. Like they inform us about any system that survives the reading random numbers out loud as quickly as possible. This is the system that will work very well for any other task. This task is super artificial. On the other hand, is so delay sensitive, and let's say whatever the interaction is there, if we have to do it quickly, and this is kind of easy task, if we show that our system passes this kind of problem, then probably any other problem can be easily done with it. Okay, I probably take too much time. Sorry for that. Oh, why my slide is not changing? Okay, in this 1312, it's by far my beloved recommendation. I just love it. So first of all, there's one task described, but it's described with lots of details, and it's very, very clear how to do it and what to do. The task is also kind of specific. It's multi-party telemeeting, testing of multi-party telemeeting. And the task is we've got 4 people, and in pairs, they exchange numbers or letters or words. And again, this is artificial, but what is nice is that they kind of have independent tasks one to each other. So they change they interact between just 2 of them, but to some extent they compete for the same resources at the same time. Well, although it is not very natural, then, for example, we know that this is very rewarding, because Ludo did this experiment and he said that the people were really engaged, and this is important. Of course, regeneration, super easy. What is even more important is that the recommendation itself describes what to do to be more sensitive to some words. So remember, the task was invented to test audio systems, multi-party audio systems, mostly. So of course, the task is focusing on that. But again, I think we could kind of change it to virtual reality case to some extent, maybe not very easily, but to some extent easily. And especially to some extent, we could show, for example, the advantage of virtual reality by virtual space that you could move and then discuss easily with someone else. And as I said, this is the only recommendation that we can see some numbers. So first of all, yeah, yet another very, very important part of this recommendation. So we do not ask about quality at all. It's again something that I just admired most. So we do the task in face-to-face, we measure the time, and then we compare to doing the same task, of course, different numbers, different words or whatever, to the situation with a specific system. And then we compare the system always against the time that was physically at the same room, by the same table. And here are the results. So from this, for example, we can see that the variance is, the confidence interval show us that actually face-to-face variance is kind of comparable It's slightly smaller, but it's comparable to the variance that is with technology that we obtained, which is a good, but it's also very important information. For example, if with my technology I get very wide confidence intervals, then I see that something is very specific for my technology, and I should check what is going on, because within the recommendation I at least got kind of baseline of that. We also see how different systems can be kind of evaluated. So mono device is worse than special device, which is not surprising in this case, but at least we can see from this plot that really those two cases, which are kind of obviously, should be obviously different, they are different. Yes, so the method really works, and the detection is possible for some, at least some cases. Okay, going to conclusions. So in my opinion, we should examine systematically tasks for IMG before we standardize them. We should follow 1301. We have the standard. Why not to follow it? We know even what kind of tests we should do. And maybe we should describe some tasks as not recommended actually for something. And not only describe tasks that are recommended, because this also can kind of make people easier to decide why I shouldn't use certain task for that. Yes, and in my opinion, if we are doing this exercise in IMG, and I'm completely, of course, okay, and I fully understand if IMG decide there's no time for that, and we are too close to close the project to play with it. But if we do, then in my opinion, this description of how easy it is to regenerate, do we have an option not to ask about quality, but just focus on the task and focus on what people do, how much it's engaging and how much it's natural? Those are the things that should be put into the description. And yeah, we should consider internal and external validity of our tasks, where internal validity means how much we really, if we change something in the system, we can see the change in the results, and external validity is how much it can really predict something useful for a system. Okay, this is all. Thank you very much. I will change the screen because in this way I can see you.
Thanks a lot, Dusan. Very useful and interesting presentation. I have some comments, but I will. Francois has also some question. Please, Francois, go ahead.
Great work. I was just curious. So these three ITU recommendations you mentioned, 1301, 5, and 12, this is to augment the current standard because you found some gaps in them. You wanted to make them more up to date with the new applications. Can you just remind me the background of this work?
So the existing applications that are mostly targeting the audio quality for multimedia communication and a little bit telemeetings with video, but not necessarily. But this is the focus. IMG is focusing on virtual reality meetings. So the idea is to extend it to the place where we can really interact or even just talk to each other, but in virtual reality, and see what are the changes. And virtual reality obviously adds a lot of dimensions for that. So IMG have got those three different groups of testing, and one of them was just audio. And this is where AGH did the work, and that is why I was focusing on those recommendations. But then there were things that were like going much beyond the audio only. Like, for example, a situation where we interact with two different environments, but fully interact. So we have to walk somewhere, show someone a different place, etc. Or for example, one person is scanned, is point cloud, and another person is walking around this person. So lots of things that are completely not possible and not mentioned by those standards at all.
Thank you very much. Great work. Very interesting.
Thank you, Francois. Pablo, please.
Yeah. Hi, thanks, Lucian, for doing this nice analysis. I took a lot of notes during your talk, as you can imagine. So, well, starting for the small things, starting for the really small things, interlocutor is a very used word in Spanish. So I guess that the person who wrote the standard probably used some Latin language. I don't know. It might be used in French or Italian. I'm not sure, but it's quite a natural word in Spanish. So it's probably something which is more natural for the person who wrote the recommendation than from people with other linguistic backgrounds. Okay. Yeah. Well, something around the tasks itself, or on the evaluation, of course. Yeah, you're also aware that it's difficult to do the things without testing it, which is basically what we are trying to do in IMG, right? Like testing the tasks and see how it works. And I also have the feeling that you have a very kind of so it's easier to find the bad parts of a task like survival game when you test it and you find the problems. I guess that other tasks that we have or you have not tested might have also some problems when you actually try to put into practice. This is something that we have found with all the tasks basically doing IMG. So I mean, we found issues in all of them, but it's not that we think that there are no issues in other tasks. So it's a bit tricky because when you test something, you find the problem. So might be it is better to find some of guidelines on how to address these problems rather to okay, we will discard this and I will propose something that I have not tested, which might have different set of problems as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance.
Just to make it super clear, I think we should test it and we should publish things with those confidence intervals. Like for example, the time it takes, like described in the standard. Yeah. And in this sense, I fully agree that maybe IMG don't want to do it because it would take a lot of time. Yeah. So I don't say we have to follow this, but this would be nice to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice way of evaluating the tasks, and we might consider including this part of this information as well, as much as we know it. I mean, so regarding your characteristics, these are things which have been at least in the intention of the task design. So yeah, well, we didn't think too much about regeneration itself on the survival game because we kind of took it the most popular one from the existing tasks, even though I think it's not that difficult to imagine new environments where you simply throw a new list of objects. But anyway, I haven't tested that task in particular. I have no particular feeling on that. It shouldn't be that difficult to regenerate the building block things or all the gesture things or even the treasure hunt thing. So they're tasks which are in principle, you could replace objects with similar objects kind of easily. And this is part of the design. Actually, all the tasks have been designed in a way which is a small thing which is repeated one time after the other. So you can kind of scale just by stacking more figures or more signs or more whatever one after the other. So more or less, it should be reasonably way of regeneration and engaging up to some points. The time is an issue that we have found doing the task, let's say. Well, in principle, you can do it time box as well and simply note down how far you went. So instead of, you need to solve 5 problems, you have 3 minutes and solve as many problems as possible. Some tasks are better for that than others. So charade, for instance, is really good at that because you can really have 3 minutes time box and that's it. Others are a bit trickier, but more or less, they're on the way. And yeah, and asking or not about quality, okay, go wait for the discussion after all, because this. I mean, we have talked a lot about that, and we have some ideas, and we have an intention of putting like performance metrics, so things that you can measure objective, and also questionnaires, and give people like options to do different things. And everything has pros and cons. So yeah, it's a bit
yeah.
Picky. We try to be broad in what we are trying to do, and yeah, some things have some advantages, others have different ones. The idea is trying to put as much knowledge as we can in the document.
And with the not asking about quality and performance metric, in my opinion, this is really important that we have it compared with the physical, let's say, doing a task physically at the same room. Yeah, so that really comparison is to the situation where we do it like without technology, because then you remove a little bit the influence of the party itself. So like people can be in general faster or slower, but then they will be also faster or slower in the real life situation, like without technology. Yeah? So this is a very nice idea, in my opinion, that is described in 1312.
Yeah, I mean the main problem about that is that you need to decide in what you are testing, basically, right? Because if you really want to test the variation in performance of a single quality factor, maybe you should go to something simpler, even if it's not natural. Like, you know, if you want only to test the effect of latency in communication, then probably taking these 1312 or 1305 tasks about random numbers or things like that, but might be the most effective ones. So, but maybe they're boring, but there will be like the direct comparison with the ACR tests for video quality, right? So you have a very simple task. You only manipulate one variable, and you create a task which only responds to that variable, and you forget about everything else. But if you go to the immersive situation, then it's not always about performance, because sometimes people can get similar level of performance with two different systems that have other types of benefits of being immersed compared to not being immersed, something like that. So the problem is that even what we want to measure might be a bit more variable, and the thing is that depends on the level of abstraction where you are, things go one way or the other. So it's a bit trickier, because we are trying to cover a wide range of things with a single recommendation, and sometimes things are not as clean as when you try to do something a bit more targeted. But if you do something very, very mechanic, then you quickly lose the benefits of being immersed, and therefore it's a bit of a problem.
In my opinion, it's a little bit depends on the task itself and how we define immerse, because it's kind of, well, I could argue that if it takes more time for me to do something that I do in real life in certain speed, and then in virtual reality I do it longer, then I cannot imagine it's better in virtual reality because I'm immersed. Yeah, if I do it as a task, it's probably I would like to do it effectively. Yeah, and then of course we can speak about a communication that is done not for a task but for pleasure, let's say. But again, if I do it longer, then the question is how it comes that the pleasure took me longer to do something. Yeah.
Sorry, but it's if the benchmark is real life, you will not get anything as immersive as real life ever. I mean, it's.
At this, I'm not so sure actually, because in let's say in virtual reality, you can have some additional information, additional options that are not existing in real life, which can actually increase your immersiveness and actually increase the also let's say effectiveness of doing some tasks. Yeah. So
yeah, but
it's not obvious for me.
Yeah, but still, real life might not be your only benchmark, in the sense that for if you are thinking about specifically about telemeetings, or like remote communication, then somehow you're assuming that you're using a system for people who's not in the same place. So of course you can compare to real life. Basically, you're trying to get closer to real life when you cannot be physically together. So it's tricky. But okay, I think we can discuss on that forever. I take the point of this evaluation of the task. We can think about it, and of course, as we said before, we need to progress somehow to be able to release the first version of the recommendation and maybe we can iterate on that in the future, because otherwise we will never finish.
Okay. Yeah, this is what something that I'm not sure if this is super clear. I really don't want to stop working because there are some problems. Yeah, it's just I found it and I thought it's good to share.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pablo. Margaret, please.
Hi. So, yes, Lucian and I spoke about this last Friday. Listening to it this time, what occurs to me is it would be wonderful for everyone in VQEG to contribute to a document that comments on each one of these methods and any methods that aren't included. Have you done the test? And if so, what were the observed advantages and disadvantages? And if you have not used the methods, what insights do you have? Like Pablo just had a few insights in general on some of these methods. I think that would be a really interesting and effective resource to give to the community. Thank you.
Excellent idea.
Yes, very good idea. We started working on the definition of the tasks in a meeting in CWI, and we had some research on this, but for sure we don't have a document that, as you said, so it can be a very good way to work on this. Thank you, Margaret. Yanis, please.
Thank you, Lucian. And honestly, Pablo covered a great deal of what I also had in mind, so I'll try to just give you delta here. So again, always very interesting. I would say not asking about quality is something that I also feel quite strongly, and I'm not sure it should be tied up only to the massive, tests we do. I think we as a group need to reflect on all of our subjective methods and whether there are ways to capture, let's call it for now generically, QE without specifically asking about QE, right? So if you can get enough, and we'll talk about what this can be. So for that one, I'm fully on. On your, I think, in my opinion, it is a very strong statement to say that if it cannot be as if it cannot beat the real life, then it's inferior, right? So first of all, there are cases where you don't have an option to be there in real life. For example, if a VR environment gives me the opportunity to be on the surface of the moon, there is no comparison there, right? Two, in many cases, I could be physically present, but weighing in the cost, the time to travel, and say the environmental impact, I don't think the question should be, is it better or not? Is the trade-off better or not? Is really what I would call it, because one needs to consider all the pluses and minuses. I think is it better to be physically in person in a meeting room, or use, say, a virtual reality headset to do a virtual meeting room? That's not a fair question if you ask me. But if you ask, is the trade-off offered by the VR device better or not? And with that said, I also agree with Margaret that there are many thoughts and ideas that can be captured to make this more collaborative. So I think not just for this, but for other presentations, I'm inviting other presenters to open up a Google Doc where people that have their ideas can bounce them off for everyone's benefit, right? So I also think that's a good idea. But having said all that, thank you for everything.
Thank you. And with this Google Doc, so maybe I will create it and just put the names of the task in the Google Docs and leave the link in the minutes of the project meeting. So, and then everyone can kind of put some thoughts there. Thank you, and sorry for taking so much time.
Thank you. No, it was very interesting, and it will. I mean, I think we will come back later on when discussing about the status of the contribution. As for now, the tasks are added in the appendix, so not really recommended, but we are using them as tasks that we have tested. So I think we still have room for working on testing more. I think it's time for the break, Shell.
Yes, we are exactly there. Just a couple of minutes running over that. So, so what is it? Or don't remember. Was it 20 minutes we are going to have here? Let's see.
Good question. Let me quickly look. We have down a 20-minute break. We are stopping 4 minutes early. If we want to stay on schedule, I suggest we take a 16-minute break.
Yeah, that's right. Is that fine with everyone? Let's get back here by in 15 minutes then, I guess, or 16. So see you in a bit.